your blood pressure must drop by 10 to 20% every single night. Miss that window, and plaque begins to stick to walls that should be slick as glass. That is not theory. That is the American Heart Association and APO's dipping pattern, the only window when your arteries run their repair cycle. You wake up exhausted. Your heart pounds the moment you lie down. Your neck feels like concrete by evening. Those are not symptoms of aging. Those are symptoms of a maintenance crew that never clocks in. Think of your arterial system as a network of high-pressure pipes coated with a non-stick lining. That lining, called the endothelium, is designed to be slicker than polished chrome. Nothing adheres. Blood flows without friction. But that coating requires maintenance. Every night, when your hydraulic pressure drops, a cellular repair crew resurfaces the interior walls. They smooth over micro scratches. They dissolve early-stage rust. They restore the nonstick film that keeps your blood from grabbing onto anything it should not. But millions of people never experience that pressure drop. Clinicians who track 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure, not just office spot checks, have identified a pattern they call non-dipping. Your daytime numbers look reasonable. Your doctor says you are fine. But at 2 a.m., when the crew should be working, your system is still running at full throttle. The pressure never drops. The maintenance window never opens. And every morning, you add another layer of corrosion to pipes that should be smooth. There is a drink you may be sipping right now, marketed as heart healthy, recommended by wellness blogs, sitting in your kitchen, that is chemically blocking this entire process. We will name it shortly. But first, you need to understand what skipped maintenance actually looks like inside your blood vessels. Here is what happens at the microscopic level. When the repair cycle fails to activate, the non-stick coating begins to pit. Tiny fissures open along the surface. Imagine the interior of a well-used frying pan, once smooth, now scored with scratches that no amount of oil will fix. Except inside your arteries, those scratches are not cosmetic. They become footholds. Calcium crystals lodge in the grooves. Lipid molecules wedge into the cracks. Fibrin strands drape across the roughened surface like cobwebs stretching between exposed beams. The corrosion does not scrape off. It builds. It hardens. It calcifies. And within months, you are no longer looking at a flexible vessel. You are looking at a segment of pipe with the elasticity of fired ceramic. One death every 33 seconds. That is the rhythm of cardiovascular failure in this country. By the time you finish this paragraph, someone is gone. The damage is cumulative. Each night without the dip adds another coat of rust. And what does rust inside a pressurized system do? It narrows the channel. Your pump, your heart, now has to work harder to push the same volume through a smaller opening. That is why your heart pounds when you lie down. It is not anxiety. It is physics. Your pump is working against resistance that should not exist. Standard advice fails against this mechanism. Your doctor tells you to cut salt, to exercise, to manage stress. All reasonable. All useless against what happens after midnight. You can eat clean all day and still sabotage your arteries with what you drink at 9 p.m. Cardiologists who track 24-hour pressure rhythms have watched patients who did everything right, who ate well, moved daily, took their medications on schedule, and still showed zero improvement. Their numbers looked perfect at noon. By 3 a.m., they were running at full daytime pressure. No dip. No repair. No crew on shift. The coating continued to corrode. But there is a spice that can coat your artery lining in an anti-inflammatory film. The problem is 90% of people consume it in a way that flushes it straight through their system. The preparation trick makes a 2000% difference. We will get to that exact protocol in a moment. First, the compound that opens the maintenance window. It is called anthocyanin, found in the petals of the hibiscus flower, and it acts as a pressure release valve for your entire vascular system. Hibiscus tea. 1 cup. Steep for 5 minutes. Consume 60 to 90 minutes before bed. That is the protocol. No sweetener unless you cannot tolerate the tartness. No additives. No caffeine. The anthocyanins signal the smooth muscles wrapped around your arteries to stop gripping. The pipe diameter widens. Hydraulic pressure drops. And the maintenance crew finally clocks in. This is not subtle. Clinical observation in patients who switched their evening drink to hibiscus showed measurable changes in their next ambulatory blood pressure reading. Not projected changes. Measured pressure on a 24-hour monitor. The dip returned. Which arteries do you want? The ones still running under pressure at 3 a.m., coating eroding, plaque accumulating, pump straining against resistance? Or the ones that drop into maintenance mode every single night while you sleep? But hibiscus clears the path. It does not repair the damage already done. For that, you need a compound that can coat the roughened surface like a protective sealant. That compound is curcumin, found in turmeric. But here is where 90% of people fail. They buy the capsule. They sprinkle the powder into water. They swallow it with their morning vitamins. And 90% of it passes through their system without ever touching their bloodstream. The absorption trick is fat. Curcumin is fat-soluble. Without a lipid carrier, your gut cannot grab it. The protocol is simple. Half a teaspoon of turmeric dissolved in 8 ounces of warm unsweetened almond milk, or full-fat coconut milk if almond is unavailable in your region. Add a pinch of black pepper. The piperine in pepper increases curcumin absorption by 2,000%. That is not marketing language. That is measured bioavailability. This golden milk coats the freshly cleared artery surface with an anti-inflammatory film. It smooths the pitted areas where corrosion has already begun. It reduces the friction that causes blood cells to catch on damaged lining. Drink it 30 minutes before hibiscus for optimal sequencing. The third compound targets your nervous system directly. Magnesium. Depleted in most adults over 45. Without adequate magnesium, your pump stays tense. Your smooth muscles grip. Your body never receives the chemical signal to begin the dipping process. The protocol is cacao. 1 tablespoon of pure, unsweetened cacao powder dissolved in 8 ounces of warm milk. Not chocolate mix. Not sweetened cocoa. Pure cacao contains flavonols that promote nitric oxide production, the lubricant that keeps your artery lining slick, and enough magnesium to calm the nervous system into repair mode. These 3 drinks rotate across your week. Hibiscus as your primary pressure release valve. Golden milk as your anti-inflammatory sealant. Cacao as your magnesium reset. Each supports the dipping pattern. Together, they create a system. Now, the saboteur your doctor may have recommended. Green tea. For daytime consumption, the advice holds. But green tea contains 30 to 50 milligrams of caffeine per cup. Consumed within 6 hours of bedtime, that caffeine triggers cortisol, the alarm that never stops ringing. Your system stays revved. The pressure refuses to drop. The maintenance window stays locked. That evening cup of what you believed was medicine is chemically identical to pouring stimulant fuel into the system right before the crew is supposed to clock in. The same applies to apple cider vinegar or lemon water consumed before sleep. Both trigger acid reflux in a significant percentage of people over 50. Reflux activates your nervous system. The body reads it as emergency. Alarms sound. The maintenance crew abandons their shift. Another night passes without repair. Stop the green tea after 3 p.m. Move the vinegar to morning. Clear your final 90 minutes before bed for compounds that support the dip, not block it. For those in regions where hibiscus is sold under different names, Roselle in Southeast Asia, Bissap in West Africa, Agua de Jamaica across Latin America, the protocol remains identical. The flower is the same. The anthocyanins are the same. Imagine lying down tonight and feeling your heart slow, not pound. Waking at 6 a.m. before the alarm, not because you could not sleep, but because your body finished its work. Reaching up to touch your neck and finding muscle instead of stone. That is the dipping pattern restored. That is the maintenance crew back on shift. You wake up exhausted. Your heart pounds when you lie down. Your neck feels like concrete. Those were not complaints. Those were signals. Your body telling you that the maintenance window has been closed, possibly for years. But that window has a handle. And you now know where it is. Your arteries are not deteriorating because you are aging. They are deteriorating because the repair system was never allowed to run. Remove the interference. Restore the pressure drop. And the coating begins to heal. In the next protocol, we dismantle the one morning beverage that reverses everything you learned tonight. It sits in 90% of kitchens. It is considered the most harmless drink in existence. And it is eroding your artery lining before you leave the house.